took my foot out of the toilet and I was attacked by. I don't know.
You were attacked by a what?
I don't even know.
Well, anyways, guys, welcome everybody to the Group Project Gamers podcast, where we talk about gaming and pretty much gaming. No, we talk about pretty much everything, but our main topic we like to talk about is gaming, just because it means so much to us, and we just love the topic.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I'm here with my one and only partner in crime, RJ. You want to say hi?
What's up, everybody?
Even though you already said hi by the toilet thing, but
Oh yeah, no, that was it was an unfortunate thing, and there doesn't really need to be much said about it afterwards. But you know, it's okay.
Rest in peace to the Kraken. I'm just kidding. But anyways, how have you been? It's been a week. I know we've been kind of doing these podcasts live, and how are you feeling about them?
I love it. I honestly love being able to interact with people while we're talking about what it is that the topic is this week, and just getting to get like that immediate feedback is always great, you know.
Oh yeah, it's
So
always really fun to have like an interactive chat, being able to talk to them live and just enjoy kind of like the ambiance of having people just kind of tune in and just watch, and then also put their inputs in. I think it's a really amazing feeling. You guys all know that me, I stream as well on the side. Obviously, you guys, if you guys are here, you guys know that I stream on the side as well. But it's definitely a great experience to have, and really fun to kind of share that with the people around me.
exactly. And then I don't know if anybody else noticed, but I just started streaming again. I finally have my headset. I know I talked about it a little bit last week, but now that I have time, it's my weekend. Maybe later I might be playing some Fortnite just for the fun of it.
I'll probably join you in on that. I want to test out this. So if you guys don't know, I just got a 144 hertz monitor, and I can already see the difference. It's an incredible thing. Like you don't know how hyped I am on this, because I've been wanting this for years, but I've been working on my computer, my main, my tower, for many years, because I wanted that to be my priority over everything else, and then the peripherals and everything else would follow through afterwards. But oh my god, like it's game changing. It really is, and I think, oh, I can't wait to like actually play on it.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of like when you get your glasses for the first time and you're like, "Wow, I can see." It's night and day.
I've been living life in 480p.
It's time to upgrade to that 1080. But
right.
with that being said, speaking of game changing, I know both you and I are excited about the news that we got this week about some leaked specifications on the PlayStation 5, and my oh my, is it crazy.
I'm right, like I can't believe that they're announcing it, right? Like it's pretty official now. And yeah, I cannot wait. Like okay, so this is the thing though, right? Like there's so many games that I wanted to play on like the old PlayStations. I know we don't have a lot of information. Well, I don't know if because you told me not to look at this information. Yeah. So I don't have a lot of information based on it. But hearing that, I don't know if they're going to support, I mean, they've done it before to support like older games being played on it. But if they do, you can bet your ass I'm getting a PlayStation 5 when it releases, and you bet your ass I'm playing Jak and Daxter if they allow me to.
Oh, there's a little bit of Jak and Daxter stuff that I want to talk about as well that you really will be excited about. But as far as the PlayStation 5, the confirmed specifications for now is and I'm reading this like basically verbatim off of two different websites, and I'll link to them in the bottom of the YouTube video on Saturday when this is put up for YouTube. But one of them is a Wired interview with Mark Cerny, who's the architect of Sony's PlayStation 4 and PlayStation Vita game consoles. But from the leaked specs, it's going to be using a bespoke 8-core AMD chipset based on the third generation Ryzen.
Wow.
Which it's the new 7nm Zen 2. It features the 7nm Zen 2 microarchitecture, and it also has a custom variant of Radeon's Navi GPU that is going to support ray tracing. Sorry.
Wow. So this thing's gonna be an absolute unit of
Yeah.
a console, and let's just hope that console finally learns from their
I'm
VSync
not done.
issues.
I'm not
Oh,
done.
okay, my bad. Damn. All right, I'll mute. My
So
bad.
so not only that, but it's going to feature a built for purpose solid state drive storage system.
Wow.
So it's going to be able to boot up faster. It's going to support 3D audio that will be upgraded in a way that will be dramatically different due to the significant amount of hardware horsepower being added to it.
Jesus
It's going
Christ.
to feature backwards compatibility with PlayStation 4 games and PSVR hardware, and
Okay.
it's gonna have 8K TV support, and that's just like the icing on top of the cake. Wait until you like bite into seeing exactly like I know I'm pretty sure you know what ray tracing is, but for other people out there who may not be aware of what ray tracing is it's a technique that is used usually in like big budget CGI movies that mimics the travel of light
Mm-hmm.
that basically will allow the PlayStation 5 to simulate complex interactions in 3D environments. So, like when you're talking about a game like The Last of Us 2 and you're talking about making it so realistic that the sunlight is going to travel the way it should be. It'll reflect
Through
off
my
of it
monitor. No, I'm just kidding.
through my monitor,
Oh my god.
blinding me.
I'm gonna have to wear sunglasses just to play video games now.
Oh my god, like it's ridiculous. And not only that, but just hearing what Mark had to say about the whole thing about Mark Cerny,
Mm-hmm.
it's ridiculous. Like this is legit going to push the console game to not only the next level but the next 5 above it, cuz that is ridiculous. The things that this PlayStation, and they're not even calling it the PlayStation 5, by the way. They're just saying a new Sony console.
To
But
PlayStation X. No, I'm just kidding.
okay.
Here we go, boys. I'm just
But
kidding.
uh no, it's going to be the triple X.
Jesus Christ. Well, I guess X gonna give it to you. He gonna get. I'm just kidding. But
Oh
that's
god.
just wild, right? Like it's already supporting like 8K like resolution, which
Mhm.
do we even have 8K? Like I feel like we don't, but I don't know. I could be wrong. You know, if I
That's what
wanted
I'm
to
saying.
play Jack and Daxter on a movie screen, I guess I could now. Like, you know.
It's it's like crazy the things that they're like working on. It's not going to be released this year, by the way. Not at all.
I
It
mean, by all means, take your time.
that's
I want an absolute unit of a
that
PlayStation to get when it comes out. You know.
yeah. So like it's the same for me. Like it's a minor bummer that it's not going to come out this year, but I'm also so relieved that they're going to take the time to make this thing work.
Yeah.
Is
The thing that's gonna be scary about this though,
Mhm.
that I could see already, is that this thing possibly will be one of the most expensive consoles that we are going to receive to date.
Maybe.
I mean, it's hard to say what they're gonna price it at, and I'm sure they haven't released the pricing yet. And I'm sure
Mhm.
they won't until they're ready to release the PlayStation 5 as a whole. Probably, I mean, I'm speculating here, but probably E3 next year, maybe. I mean, if they're already talking about it now, you know, there's a pretty good chance they're going to show up for E3 next year, right?
Maybe.
And
And
probably their first game is probably going to be Last of Us 2 because we already know how big a hit The Last of Us 1 is.
mhm.
So you know, like I feel like it's only right that both of these things will be officially released on E3 next year, since they already announced that they're not gonna be there this year, right? We've already debunked
Possibly.
that.
Or well, yeah, they said it themselves that they weren't going to be at E3 this year. Like
Right.
no Sony company is going to be at E3 at all.
Exactly.
But but that being said, that doesn't mean that they can't like hold an event for themselves, which I wouldn't put it past Sony to do. Just because, I mean, this is kind of like a little teaser, is a little bit of a reveal, not really, because who knows what the final product is going to be like. And
Mm-hmm.
then as to the whole like the price range of it, my guess is that the reason why they're doing the backwards compatibility with the PlayStation 4 is exactly to counteract why the PlayStation is going to be so expensive. So instead of having to buy a whole new gaming console and buy your games all over again, and hey, what's up, number one special?
What up? Welcome
But
to the podcast.
yeah, instead of waiting to see what it's going to be like, um, in regards to that, where was I? I lost my place. I had it.
I think you
Oh,
were last talking about like the pricing of the PlayStation and what we are speculating about it right now.
oh yeah. So the reason why I think that they're doing the backwards compatibility and they're like relying so heavily on that aspect of it is that it's going to be expensive, but at least this way the people that have a PlayStation 4 will be able to go in, sell their old station, and pull as much money as they want into putting into the next generation,
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna be, that's gonna be their move at this point, but we'll see. We'll see. I have a good feeling that they are going to show up at E3 next year. I mean, like, again, like you said, we wouldn't hold it against them if they didn't, and they just hosted
hmm
their own thing, right? But E3 is kind
hmm
of like that tech, release that like everybody looks forward to, similar to like, I don't know what the event is called, but there's one for like a car show where like, all the newest cars are kind of showcased from each dealership or whatever, and they say like, this is the new Subaru or this is the new Toyota, like whatever, they announce everything. Like E3 is like the equivalent
hmm
of that, and I don't think it wouldn't be a bad idea for PlayStation to be there still, even if PlayStation wants to kind of like stray away from all this stuff, which it kind of feels like in a sense. But
hmm
like, I would say E3 next year is going to be huge, and if it is, we should probably plan for E3 next year. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. I'm going. We are going next year. At the very least, we're gonna go this year.
I'm already saving up
Next
my
year.
PTO.
Yes, same, same. But yeah, let's talk about some of these specifications. I mean, like this is ridiculously overpowered if you ask me. Like this thing better be able to like you better be able to see the bead of sweat roll off of Ellie's face while she's running through hordes of zombies in The Last of Us 2, Like
Yeah,
this when they're hyping up this bad, it better come out with a bang. Cuz from what I know personally on like buying PlayStations, I always wait till the second quote unquote like edition of the generation that's coming up just because it's always the first one that comes out that has a lot of problems, that like has a lot of issues that come out with it. Like I remember the PlayStation 4 originally came out with a lot of heating issues, like the console would overheat.
oh well,
um
if hopefully we don't have that problem, because this thing is a whole other monster. And if you have
exactly.
any heating issues, I feel like it's just gonna destroy the console, and PlayStation's gonna, ooh, I don't know.
Ex- exactly though, because
It's
but the way
scary.
that the way that they're describing it, it really sounds like it's going to be this monster of a console. Like the PlayStation 4 Pro is beefy, but I'm just imagining this thing as a fucking like PC tower at this point.
It is. It essentially is. Like, that's why I said that the price range is probably going to be a lot higher than what we expect it to be. I mean, a lot of people
hmm
are already comfortable with $300, $400 on a console. Again, seeing these specs now being released, you're potentially looking at something that is going to be like $600, $700 at the least. You know what I mean? Like, because these specs
Potentially.
are equivalent to that of a PC. And I mean, you're only talking about the graphics card and the CPU at the moment.
hmm
It still takes a whole other like a whole other lot of stuff, and on top of that, you have SSD. Those three things already add up to a pretty big number. You know what I mean?
True.
If you're gonna talk about like the price range as is right now, if you're trying to
hmm
buy the setup, but to see it packaged into a console, I mean, it's going to be very interesting how they're going to market this, how they're going to sell it, and how they're going to pitch it. Because right now, we know what the specs are. And I don't know if these are going to be like the set in stone specs, right? The 8 core AMD chipset with the the third gen Ryzen GPU, or was it the Radeon Navi's GPU? You know, it's still. I mean, is this what they said is to be officially what the PlayStation 5 is going to be, or a quote unquote PlayStation 5? We don't have a name for this yet, right? But we'll call it the
Mm.
PlayStation 5 here, just because it'll follow the the pattern of everything up to this point.
I mean, I guess, but yeah, no, this thing is. I wouldn't put it past them though to like find a way to make this cost effective for them, because I mean Sony is a big company, so to get these kind of like if you're thinking about it from like the perspective of a person buying each part individually versus a company like Sony purchasing these parts or getting somebody to manufacture them for them specifically, I don't think they're going to lose out a whole lot of money if they make it like a $500 console or a $400 console.
Right.
Because imagine you're competing against PCs that take at least $1,000, if not a little bit more, to build a pretty decent rig, you know?
Yeah.
And what better way to do that than to give the same level of quality for cheaper in a package that's more accessible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be a give and take at this point, kind of, because
Mhm.
obviously, if you're going to set like, if you're gonna have like a rig like this monstrous, and you want to make it cost effective, you're gonna have to make sacrifices. There might be some issues that come along the way that they're probably not gonna realize until it releases. Again, you probably are gonna run into heating issues again, because those are type of things that, like, I feel like companies that are building like these kind of rigs kind of tend to overlook and say, like, you know what, we can sacrifice here so that we can up the quality on here. You know what I mean? And
I
so, like,
guess.
if they're looking at the 8 core AMD chipset with the Radeon Navi GPU, that's already expensive as it is. Like, and then on top of that, they're planning on running SSDs only for storage. SSDs are not cheap, and a lot of people nowadays are looking at 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 3 terabyte, 4 terabytes. No one's looking at 250 or 500. You know what I mean? Like, those are not storage spaces that people are looking for. So if people are looking into SSDs as well, the SSD is already gonna spike the price, because we already know that the PlayStation, from previous PlayStations, that they will release like the base model, which will probably be like your 250, 500, and then you'll move into your 1 terabyte, 2 terabyte, 4 terabyte, stuff like that, and those could potentially start to look towards like $1,000, because I mean, you're paying for the space that you want. You know what I mean? And not only that, you're also paying for the quality of the game. You're paying for, fast processing and everything like that. So, it's hard to say, just because right now, PlayStation has only given us this information, and I'm speaking from a PC's perspective, right? Like, I'm not like, if you want to talk realistic, this is gonna get expensive. You know what I mean? But on the other end, consoles have always been the type of thing that allows people to purchase things to either game or use as entertainment systems at an affordable price, right?
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you're gonna look towards $1,000, why not just build a PC, something that you can also upgrade later on? Unless PlayStation has this idea that you can upgrade your PlayStation later on, which then in turn is gonna be like, do you want to buy your first PC on your own, or do you want to buy your first PC on PlayStation? Is kind of what it sounds like. But if PlayStation doesn't have that intention of like creating a console that you can upgrade, then I mean, by all means, do what you can so that it's affordable for the public, for the people,
Mhm.
because that's how consoles have always been for everyone. I mean, hell, that's how I got into gaming in the first place, was consoles. So, make it affordable so that people, you know jump into this market and people have like an interest in it, because I mean, we've seen it, over the years. The gaming industry has just grown and grown and grown, and I don't think it has any time to stop at this point.
No, definitely. And just to go off of what Cerny had said in the Wired interview, by the way, um, he was saying how like when he was referring to the new Sony console, the PlayStation 5, quote unquote, he was just saying like this isn't gonna be just another run of the mill upgrade, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's he says the key question is whether the console adds another layer to the sorts of experiences you already have access to, or if it allows for fundamental changes in what a game can be, you know? And I feel like the developers over at Sony, like the Sony developers that are behind this project are saying this because they're confident that they can put out this thing that's accessible to everybody, but also changes the way we view video games as a whole.
Right.
And I don't know, just from all the hype surrounding, like, just in recent years, when the PlayStation 4 came out, I was so excited about it. And you know what? It wasn't disappointing. It really wasn't. The only disappointing side to the PlayStation 4 in my books was the fact that I'm not able to play 4K Blu-rays on it like I would in an Xbox One X, you know, or the
Right.
Xbox One.
But I mean,
And
now they're talking about AK, so I mean, you
yeah,
know, they're definitely stepping their game up from the last one for sure.
and not only that, but like with the recent success of like the reveal of the Xbox One that's supposed to be like all digital
Mm-hmm.
and how people are hyped for it. From what I've read around is that there might be an option like that for the PlayStation 5 that makes it like all digital. The only thing that could probably make it a bad idea to do it that way is the limitations of memory.
Right.
But if they're
Because
gonna
you're
do the
forced to use your storage space instead of having like a hard copy.
exactly, but even then, even like just
But I
think
mean,
of
even the disc right now, you still just upload it to your station, your PlayStation, essentially, right?
basically there's always like that gigantic download. Like I remember when I got Grand Theft Auto 5 for the first time and it was like God knows how many gigabytes of memory just to load it up.
You're
And
telling
then on top
me,
of that,
like my gaming drive in my computer went from like 200 free space to 400 free, like, or not 200 to 400. It like lost 200 gigs of free space because of
yeah,
this game. Like it's insane. It's a
it's
it's a
ridiculous.
package. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the kind of thing that you have to expect when you're making these gigantic games. Like Red Dead Redemption 2 was another big one
Yeah.
just because of the maps.
Rockstar Games
Uh
is eating up your hard drives in solid states like it's
seriously.
nothing.
And it's crazy that like hopefully Sony fixes the problem where they come out with a 500 gig model. Screw that. Start off with a base model at 1 terabyte because even my PlayStation 4 Pro right now is kind of like lacking in space because of games that I have.
Yeah, I have
And
a 250 SSD and I don't use anything on it besides just my operating system.
mhm.
Like it's I mean it's a good investment because it starts up my computer like instantaneously, but the downside is I can't use any of that space because it's only dedicated to just having my operating system. And like I can't imagine like PlayStation, especially with all these new games coming out where you're talking about like 500 gig downloads, because you're downloading the entire map basically, part for part, and then expecting to play through the entire map. I don't know, like they got to figure out a system that allows you to not have such large downloads.
That is true.
Which is like I don't know how hard that is because I mean
And
maps nowadays are just getting larger and larger and larger, and it's just
and
like
more
the
detailed too.
yeah, and it's just like, and we're slowly moving into the RTX and the the equivalents of that, which is one that's in this console, the Navi GPU,
Mhm.
equivalent to the that of the RTX, the Nvidia RTX, and we're slowly moving into that whole realm of just more detailed gaming, that it's like what else do we expect, like now we're going to get games not only that are detailed by the every physical character in the game, but it's also going to be detailed in the sense that the environment is going to be very realistic, and so it's like how far are we about to push gaming, because
Mhm.
it's like we're about to reach like hyper realism of video games. Potentially it's gonna be like SAO, where it's gonna basically take over your life type thing. You know what I mean?
I don't
Like,
necessarily
I wouldn't say
mean
it's like taking over your life, but it's like it's essentially like you'd have a second life if you just played a video game. You know what I mean? Because it's so
I guess.
realistic.
Yeah, I guess
Like,
that could be.
imagine like everything in the game has like a lifespan. Like, that'd be wild. Like, you haven't
Well,
logged on for 3 days. Guess what happened to the captain? Like,
guess what happened to Timmy?
yeah, guess what happened to
Not
Timmy?
Timmy.
He grew up. Like,
Timmy grew up
Timmy
in three
grew up.
days.
Yeah, in three
Jesus.
days. You know, that'd be
Oh,
wild.
but I don't know. Like when it comes to that kind of thing, I think the best course of action would just to be expand the memory, because
Yeah,
there's no way that you're gonna be able to condense all that detail, the gigantic maps that are coming out, and everything that comes with the game into smaller spaces. You're gonna have to accommodate for the usage of more memory like that. So they're gonna have to figure out a way to optimize larger um what's it called, to be able to have bigger quantities of memory in a console, and to kind of drive down the cost in a way as well. They have to
it's
see
gonna
where
be
they can cut those costs.
it's gonna be hard.
Oh
That's gonna
yeah,
be a
but
task that PlayStation's gonna take, and I feel like, as great as the PlayStation sounds to be released right now, I still feel like it's gonna be very expensive to own a PlayStation, the next PlayStation.
I guess.
I
But
mean,
that's
just looking at the specs that we have right here in front of us, you're looking at already something. If you're looking at, like, say, like a 1 terabyte SSD, with all these specs right now, you're already looking at close to $800.
true.
You know what I mean? Like, it's already added up to that. So whether or not PlayStation can pull through and make it affordable for everybody, that's going to be on them, and that's going to be a very large task to take. But
I get.
it'll be really interesting to see what comes out of this, just because it's like, it's PlayStation. I'm sure they'll probably figure it out.
Yeah. No, that if anybody can do it, like if anybody's got the means to do it, Sony has. But I do want to ask the audience, so everybody that's watching, you guys don't have to answer if you don't want to, but what do you guys think of these specifications? Like, um, it's crazy just how far we've come, really, in the last just 2 years
Yeah,
in gaming.
it is. It's
And
huge.
yeah, it's very, it makes me hopeful to see some crazy stuff happen with gaming. Like, are we going to be able to see like these complex interactions with environments in a way that, well, what is,
What?
oh, my watch is just, there's an alarm, a random ass alarm that just went off. Sorry about that, everybody.
No worries.
Anyways, um but yeah, it's cool, and I can't wait to see what happens next, basically. But what do you guys expect out of this? Are you guys excited? Are you kind of like, are you gonna hold off on buying the very first iteration of the PlayStation 5, quote unquote? Or are you just going to just say fuck it and go buy yourself a console? Because honestly, I'm debating right now with myself internally. Do I want to buy it right away, or do I want to do the same thing that I've done always and just buy the next one?
I would
You know?
probably wait until because we already know they're probably gonna make a slim version of it, because they do with every single one.
True, but then the
So
slim version.
I would wait until that one probably.
True, but then it always comes down to like when the slim version comes out, then it doesn't have as much memory, and then
Or the
you have all
Pro,
that to deal with.
because I remember, didn't they have a PlayStation 4 Pro,
That's yeah, I have that.
or was that the
That's
Slim?
what I have. No, it's the Pro.
So it's
So like,
different. It's different, right?
yeah, it's supposed to do 4K upscaling completely, and it has a 1 terabyte hard drive on it and all this other crazy stuff that it can do. But it streams completely in 4K, so that's basically the changes that it did. Which again, that was what I was really disappointed in, is that like when the Pro was announced and it said something about 4K, I was like, great, I'm gonna be able to play my 4K Blu-rays. I wasn't able to, and I had to sell those things, you know? I was
Yeah.
excited to see what my TV can do because I do have a 4K TV and I was like excited. Wow, I'm going to be able to utilize every single TV. Nope. Never mind. I guess not. But, you know, the to their to their merit, they are working on making a 8K support. So I don't even know what that is or what to expect because that's ridiculous.
All I'm saying is if they're planning on doing 8K, we better be able to play 1080p at 144 hertz. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, trust me, I feel like with the processor and the GPU that it has, I'm pretty sure that it will at least be able to do that, you know?
Oh, I mean, you can do that easily with that setup, but the question is, are they gonna allow it? You
That
know,
is
that's the question. Because like at this point, it becomes the developers, the game developers themselves, really, to open up that option to allow us to access that,
Mhm.
or PlayStation. Because I don't know whether or not it's PlayStation's idea to keep it so low, or if it's the developers' idea to keep it so low. But you know, it's up to them basically to decide whether or not we can play at 144 hertz or anything above 60 hertz. You know.
Yeah, I guess it would make sense that it's it's a joint decision because if you think about the developers, what they have to do already, they have to be able to put out a game that can be played on a low end rig, on a console, and on a high end rig, you know? So, at the very least, especially like the developers like Rockstar Games, when you're talking about Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto and stuff like that, you really have to take into consideration your whole player base.
Yeah.
So, it would make sense that like hey, the developers are going to develop this to be able to be played at that level, like 1080p, 144 hertz. The what is it, like 120 frames per second?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Well,
That
I mean, if
is
you're at
optimal.
144 hertz, you could
144.
achieve 144 frames per second. Then you can play at
144.
144. Yeah. So usually the
At
incrementation
140.
of like the hertz, the refresh rate of a monitor or like a TV's, it's the same thing. It
Hmm.
goes 60, 75. I think it goes then 120, 144, then 240. I think
240. What
it's
the? I
yeah.
don't even know, man. Like that's getting past my knowledge of PC gaming.
It's
So,
not even just PC gaming. Like TVs are built like this too.
well, yeah, but that's
But
TV. Like,
like
not.
refresh rate is basically how fast your monitor or TV can refresh each line of pixels, right? So say
Yeah,
you're at like 1080p 144. That means that each line of pixels that at 1080p is being refreshed at 144 hertz per second.
yeah.
So like that's how fast you see like everything being like refreshed on your screen. Like obviously we can't
Mhm.
see it, but like have you ever like held up a camera or like video recorded like a TV or like a monitor, and you see those like lines, like it's like a one dark and one light. You see those
I'm gonna go
lines?
ahead and say no because I don't want to get in trouble for piracy.
Well, okay. So you have.
No, I haven't. What do you
Uh-huh.
mean? Stop trying to incriminate me, Kev.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. But I mean, you know, you see like those lines that are like scrolling down essentially when you're recording like a TV or a monitor. That's
Hmm.
the refresh rate. That's what you see. That's the physical look appearance of a refresh rate. Our eyes cannot see that because a camera, right? Like certain cameras, you can see, like, you know, 1,000 hertz or 1,000 refresh or frame rate cameras. They can capture
Hmm.
those. They can capture like each pixel being picked up and then dropped or like refreshed onto the screen. Like I
Hmm.
think slow mo guys has a really good rendition of that. But that's basically it. Kind of like went on a tangent about refresh rates. So my bad.
No, no, that's okay. I mean, like, it's a good thing because that kind of like draws the line in the sand as to where the console game can go. You know, it's always been the the hindrance of the frames per second,
Hmm.
and hopefully with this with this new Sony console, it's gonna be ridiculous if they don't upgrade that for everybody, because I feel like everybody deserves to be able to play at that level, like at least experience that in one way, shape, or form, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's always gonna be the people that are gonna save and hold off on buying the PlayStation 5 right away and just buy it when they can afford it, which is great. But I don't know, if you like video games, if you really like video games, then I feel like no price point is going to deter you from trying to buy this, you know, especially if you're a Sony fan like me. Like I don't think that there's a price point where I'll be able to like, or I'll just tell myself like, no, you can't, no, you're not going to get this at all, you know?
Yeah.
So just to see where we're going in the realm of consoles and how what am I trying to say? How well they put out the images and how optimized they are.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait. I really want to see Microsoft come back and see what they like, see what they're gonna come up with now, because this is gonna set the bar up so high that Microsoft better like fucking they better work on their hops, honestly.
Yeah.
Because goddamn, like
PlayStation
they were
bringing in a whole new vertical when it comes to
seriously
console
like.
gaming.
Cause like think about it. Microsoft was like, "Oh, we're gonna bring it at E3 this year," and then Sony's like, "Bitch, hold the phone, hold my poodle, and like wait for me to like say just what we're working on, not even what the finished product is gonna be."
I know.
Because imagine they're saying this, they're not gonna show all their cards. You know, they got that ace up the sleeve, and they're gonna put it down at the end like, "Bitch, here, take that." You know.
Right.
So I don't know, like as far as console wars, I don't think there's gonna be another like heated console war argument anymore. But I do want to see them just be like, "Hey, step up your game. Let's see what you guys got."
Right.
You know,
It'll be really good to see the future of consoles at this point, right? I mean, not only do we have Microsoft and PlayStation going at it, but we have a few new consoles that are coming into the scene, and it's going to be very interesting to see what they do
Soldier
as
Boy.
well. Yeah, Soldier Boy. So, you better step your game up because 60 hertz is a thing of the past, buddy.
Seriously.
No, but you know, it's gonna be very interesting to see just the whole evolution of just console gaming in general. I mean, we already
Mm-hmm.
know where PC gaming goes. It's pretty much set in stone that it's just up to the people that are making the parts for them and just
Seriously though.
upgrading at that point. But you know, for console players and consoles in general, it's gonna be very interesting to see, you know, what they choose to use inside their consoles, how affordable it becomes in the later series and everything like that. You know,
Mm-hmm.
everything's gonna be game changing. I think at this point, you know, especially since you know as of right now, I think you see a lot of people willing to spend a lot more on video games now, more than ever so before. You know,
Definitely.
so we'll see. We'll see what Sony has up their sleeve. We'll see what Microsoft has up their sleeve because I'm sure after seeing the release of the specs of the PlayStation, Sony's or Microsoft better is probably on the edge of their seats right now, saying, you know, what can we do now? Because we said we were gonna bring it. They announced this before E3, and now we're just gonna look like, you know, we're just gonna get
Yes.
run
Yes.
into the ground now because you know they just did this right before they basically PlayStation did Microsoft dirty, like
Oh yeah.
they did them dirty, like to do it like this.
No, definitely. And not only that, but it's it's a call to rise to the occasion, really. Like we've said before, it's more about pushing the boundaries, pushing the limits of what gaming can be. And just like Mark Cerny said in that interview. By the way, it was a great article. It was written by Peter Rubin, I want to say it was, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But Wired, it's on wired.com.
Oh yeah, I'm pulling it
And
up right
they
now.
yeah, they did a great job of like asking those questions, is like, is this just gonna be that just like, oh, it's just another step above what we did last time, kind of half-assed, you know. But this is going to change the way consoles evolve, I think, because from what the PlayStation 4 is right now, which is great, it's a good console, to what the PlayStation 5, quote unquote, is going to be, supposedly, you know, allegedly.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And I just want to see those kind of jumps from now on. I want to see a leap into the future of gaming. I don't want to see more baby steps. I want people to be like sprinting towards what they can be instead of half-assing it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like the whole move of PlayStation doing this, obviously Xbox kind of has their thing right now, and to be honest, I feel like Xbox is just being belittled at this point because PC and PlayStation has just ever so stepped up the game. I mean, I don't know exactly what the specs of the next Xbox are gonna be. I don't know if they've released that yet. I'm sure they probably have it somewhere.
They're just gonna build a PC and just slap an Xbox symbol
but
on it.
If they haven't released the PlayStation or the next Xbox, I'm sure they're redesigning it right now. Like
seriously,
because whatever they had in store is probably gonna be overshadowed by this for sure.
They were like, "Oh, we're gonna send out this console and it's gonna be able to do 60 frames per second at 144 hertz refresh rate." And then now the PlayStation is like, "Bitch, we got 8K TV support." And they're gonna be like, "Wait, hold on."
Right? It's just like, oh wait, you just destroyed us. All right, hold up.
I don't know. Another thing that I know that you were interested in. Hey, babe, want to say hi to everybody? Oh, okay. She's grumpy. Never mind.
Well, hi, Sam.
Kevin says hi. Okay. All right. Sorry about that.
No, you're good.
Anyways, going back to what was I gonna say? Oh yeah. I know that I had talked to you about this, but there's some the Division 2 updates that's gonna be targeting like PC performance. I don't know. What are your feelings on this? Because I know that you were a little disappointed in the Division 2 when it first came out, but ever since it came out, it's been improving slowly but surely. I just wanted to get your ideas on like your thoughts on what it is.
It's actually really funny that you bring that up because I ended my stream on that topic too, and I have the game downloaded. I re-got the game and I have it on my PC, and I'm probably going to stream it tomorrow. So I will definitely have more of a review tomorrow. So probably expect more to talk about next week on the Division 2. But I am going to be playing it. I think if Justin's here, I'm going to be playing it with Justin most likely, and I don't know who else wants to join the squad, but we will be playing that on stream tomorrow. So do look forward to that. I will give hopefully some good feedback on it. I do have high hopes for it, and mainly because I too have been hearing a lot of good things about the updates that have been happening to the Division 2. And maybe I shouldn't have cut it so short, so early, because it was still the early phases and all that stuff. But I was still trying to focus on the stream and where I wanted to take the stream and everything like that. But I quickly came to the realization that if I'm just streaming like a lot of games that I'm enjoying at the time, there's gonna be people that want to watch. But yeah, anyways, hearing all these good like feedback about the Division 2 and everything, that basically the turn of direction that they had from the very release to now, I feel like is a very good direction. And it's something that we talked about on a previous podcast where we said Epic Games seems to be a company that really tends to turn things around for a lot of games, right? When we saw the first few seasons of Fortnite, sorry to talk about Fortnite again, but when we saw the first few seasons of Fortnite, right, like it was cool, it was quirky, like it was fun, and then we saw it evolve into this game that has multi-millions being invested into it, multi-billions at this point. And we're seeing tournaments that are just these big pool prizes, and the game started out as just you walked around, you built a stair, and then you just fought people, and people didn't know how to build fight, people didn't know how to do all these crazy mechanics that we have now. But you know, they took that game and really changed it and evolved it and escalated it to something crazy. And you know, now we're seeing the same thing with the Division 2, right? You know, upon release it had a lot of backlash, negativity. People were saying there's all these problems. And quickly, you know, we came to the realization that Epic Games is kind of, it feels like they've really established a lot of those problems early on in the game. You know, let's hope we don't see what happened to Fortnite, where Epic Games listens to the community at the beginning and gives good feedback, and then later on just kind of basically says, you know what, we're done with this project, this is up to you guys now, and we're gonna pick up another project. Because that's what it kind of feels like at this point, right? Because right now Fortnite, it was a game that was getting a lot of attention from a lot of people. Epic Games realized, hey, like this is a good game, like let's work on it. So they worked on it, they listened to the community, and then suddenly they started releasing things and doing things to the game that people weren't wanting, you know. And could we potentially see the same thing with Division 2? That's hard to say, you know. It's, you know, again, Fortnite was one of their first kind of games that really got Epic Games on the map, I feel like. Maybe that's kind of speaking a little bit too boldly, but you know, I don't think a lot of people knew about Epic Games until Fortnite was released, and then now you hear all these things about Epic Games. But now, you know, we're seeing Division 2 getting a lot of attention, people are giving it feedback, and then also the fact that Epic Games is kind of responding with, okay, we're gonna fix the game. You know, it's getting a lot of good feedback now from the community. But let's see the future of the game. Let's see like the progression of, like, let's say 8 months, because because Fortnite in about 8 months took that turn where, like, it was a great game, they were listening, they were developing the game great, like you have a good connection between your community and the developing team. And then suddenly just boom, like it's just like you just put a brick wall in between both of them. And I mean, Fortnite, you know, you can do that, you can put a brick wall in between you and protect yourself. But you know, in this sense, it was, they put a brick wall in between them and they just said, you know what, we're gonna do whatever we want to this game now. And the community is just like, they're giving feedback, but nothing's being said about it. You know, Division 2 in turn, it's following essentially the same path right now. It's really early on, so it's kind of hard to say what's going to be the future of it, but you know, I'm going to keep high hopes for it. I believe that Epic Games is, you know, well enough to kind of realize their mistakes, hopefully, and learn from them for the future of a lot of games that they're taking on, because they're starting to pick up a lot of titles that are AAA and big named, you know, beforehand. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do with the future of Division 2. Again, like I said, I will be streaming it on my stream tomorrow, so I'll be able to, next week I'll probably have a lot better of knowledge base on how I feel about the game and how it was when upon release. You know, because I have both of those feedbacks essentially at this point.
Oh yeah. That's the thing, is Epic Games, like you said, they really do make whoever it is that they're working with step up their game big time. Whether the upgrades and the updates on the Division 2 were a direct influence from Epic Games or not, I don't think it really matters, because I think the growth and interest of the game and just the positive reviews that it's gotten in just the last couple of weeks alone has more than made up for everything that they put their player base through, you know, in the beginning, the early stages of the game. Sorry, I was getting a little distracted again.
You're good.
But yeah, the thing is that with these updates, I feel like you're gonna see an uptick in interest from people coming over from like Rainbow Six Siege and stuff like that, because obviously it's the same developers, it's the same company, it's based on the same, like it's based on
Tom Clancy.
It's a game. Tom Clancy, great author, by the way. I have a lot of his books. But yeah, like it's crazy to see just how far it's come in just a short amount of time, because at the beginning the reviews were just oof, they were scathing. But now where it is, it's great.
Yeah. And like I said, Epic Games just tends to have this very good thing about starting games off, like, basically hitting the ground running, essentially, right? So
Mm-hmm.
again, we've seen what they've done, we've seen the work that they do. Could it possibly be that they're focusing more on this game and that's why Fortnite is kind of not getting any more attention? It could
I don't.
be. It's a possibility, but it's like, how are you gonna compare the Division 2 to Fortnite, where Fortnite is one of the biggest games, if not the biggest game right now, right undermining League of Legends and Counter-Strike. Basically Fortnite is like the number 3 spot there. And especially in terms of like competitive play, you kind of have to focus on games like that too. But it could be that maybe Fortnite is getting neglected because the Division 2 needed a lot of caregiving or caretaking, basically. Like, we saw how it started when upon launch, and
But I
then
don't.
Epic Games was like, you know what, we gotta fix this game, or we gotta talk to the developers and see like what we can do to fix this game.
Well,
And
that's the
they've
thing.
definitely done a good job up to this point, and it's
Uh-huh.
like, now what are we gonna see with Epic Games and like the allocation of time to a few of their big titles.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Like I don't think Epic Games has a direct hand in the development of the Division because I mean it's still Ubisoft,
Right. but
But
but it's like as
uh,
if, like, Steam or Epic Games or Uplay or X, or, well, I have Xbox, but like Origin, those kind of companies that take the games and then say like, we're gonna release it under our name. If you're gonna release something under your name, you want it to be good, right? Like, you want it to have like that top end thing. So I'd feel
I
like a lot
guess.
of these companies would definitely talk to a lot of their developers, people who are developing the games, and say like, you know what, this is what the community is saying, would you listen to this? Yeah, I mean, like, you basically have like a third person talking, essentially, right, between the community and the developers. You have that middle person, right, the middleman, essentially, which would be like
Mm-hmm.
Epic Games or Steam, stuff like that. And they basically kind of have the final say as to what happens, because they're the ones that are going to be selling your product, you know what I mean?
I guess.
um
But again, I don't know. I'm really excited to see some more content creation come out of the what's called the Division 2 just
mhm.
because it does look like a great game and I don't know, the love that everybody had for the first game kind of at the beginning of the release of this one died out a little bit, but I see it coming back.
Oh yeah,
So,
definitely. It's definitely grown since the last time, and I'll let you know more about it when I dive into it tomorrow. Um,
for sure.
it'll definitely be a good experience. I think me and Justin plan on playing through the story mode, just casually, and then once we get to the top level, we'll start just grinding out gear and everything like that. So it'll be fun. I know games like that take some time and everything like that, so it'll be good, like a little break from everything else that I've been doing. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I'll definitely have more feedback on that game this coming week.
Sweet. All right. Anything else that you wanted to like update or talk about in the realm of gaming?
On my end, you know, not really. I've already kind of updated everything. I mean, you guys kind of see it time to time. I'm still working on different stuff for the stream. I'm always constantly thinking about what I can do to upgrade. So that's kind of why you guys see me not like step forward a lot with the podcast sometimes, which I apologize. I really do wish I could spend a lot more time like doing more research and doing everything to be a little bit more ready for this.
No
But
worries.
again, like, this podcast was kind of more brought up because me and RJ, we tend to have really good conversations, so we feel like it would be great to podcast. But I've been focusing a lot more on my stream, and it's just kind of like, my time allocation has been like all over the place. But and I do apologize if it does seem like, when I do the podcast, it's like I'm not like 100% there. Um, but I will try to, I try to be, but
Like I said, don't worry about that. Like,
mhm.
um, I don't know. Like, it's It's better that you're like focusing your attention on your stream, in all honesty, because you've grown so much in the last couple months. You've really pushed for it, and now you're affiliated, and I couldn't be prouder, honestly. Like
Yeah.
it's awesome. You've come so long, you've come so far, and you just keep improving, and you keep improving the experience for all your viewers, and that's where I want to get to, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um
It's definitely been a lot of hard work and a lot of like learning.
oh yeah.
Like, oh my god, like I did not know anything about Photoshop. And what up, Ridwan? How you doing?
Hey.
But you know, from where I was back then to where I am now, I've become so proficient in like Photoshop and just understanding like different techniques to the quality of the stream and everything like that. So it's just like I just got here. Well, welcome. We're kind of reaching like the end of the. I feel like it's the end of the podcast, but I'm sure we'll probably talk about a lot of stuff anyways. But yeah,
Yeah.
like you know, I've come so far into learning about streaming and just getting an understanding of like, you know, what to do to up the quality and just to becoming a better streamer, you know, trying to become more interactive um and stuff like that. So it's definitely been a journey for sure up to this point, but I still want to, you know, I still want to achieve, you know, more, you know, I still want to achieve like um just up again, still upping the quality of the stream and still like trying to up the quality of my gameplay and just doing everything like that so that people like are entertained. Like that's something that I really enjoy doing. I just love entertaining people no matter how I do it. Games just happens to be like my outlet, something that allows me to kind of be me, you know, without having to show my face, even though I've been streaming with webcam.
Oh yeah.
But gaming was kind of like the thing, you know, that that allowed me to just do me basically.
Oh yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been
And
just spending a lot of time on that stuff.
no, that's good. That's really good. And Ridwan, we're pretty good. We're just chilling, you know, just talking about stuff. Sorry that you didn't catch like the beginning part, but if you want, I mean, you can always watch the VOD afterwards, and
And the
we're gonna
pod
be
or the Saturday episode, which I think
yeah.
this one's being uploaded Saturday. Yeah.
How you doing, my lord and my lady?
My boy's been watching too much Game of Thrones. No.
Hey, there's no such thing as too much Game
I
of
know,
Thrones.
I know.
Like,
All right,
ooh.
people are gonna hate me if I say that. I'm not gonna say it.
You haven't watched it. I know. It's all good.
Like any of
You
it.
know what? We're going to binge watch it at the end of the season so that you get everything from the beginning all the way to the damn end. Winter is here, damn it.
I'm assuming that's like a character, or I mean,
Wait, what?
otherwise I don't
What?
want winter to be here because winter is like it just ended. Like we're
Oh,
finally getting
oh
good
no.
weather.
No, we're not talking about the show. No spoilers.
Okay.
But we will binge watch it. We'll do a Discord freaking like binge watch of
Viewing party.
Game of Thrones all together once the season is over and once Rid catches up.
Oh, Red's gonna catch up. He's been watching it with Thrills like this entire time. Oh, I also want to congratulate
Oh
Thrills.
yeah.
Oh my god, he was
Congrats,
popping
Thrills.
off this weekend. So if you guys didn't know, Thrills was playing in the Mountain West Collegiate tournament for Rocket League.
Not
And
Mountain West. Western Athletic.
is it Western Athletic or Mountain West? I can't remember. It was like West
Western
something. So
Athletic.
the West, basically the West region of the US.
Yeah.
And our team went all the way to the grand finals, but we got second place. I mean, I'm not disappointed in that. Like, that's the farthest that our team has ever made it. But it's just congratulations, boys. You guys worked super hard. I know Boise State is a bit of a tough opponent, but you know what? You guys did your best, and you guys did really well. So congratulations to Thrills. And I also want to congratulate the LA Griffins because they also, in their tournament, made second place. So they too made it to the grand finals without their main roster. So that's amazing for them too. So congratulations to the LA Griffins and congratulations to the boys over at University of Nevada, Reno. So
Hell yeah.
good
I'm proud
stuff,
of
guys.
you.
Good stuff. It is Mountain
It's
Western.
Mountain Western?
Yeah.
I thought it was because I know that UNR is in the Western Athletic Conference.
We got invited to it.
All sports. Oh, okay, okay, okay.
So in order to fill the spots, they got invited. Because also, I think UNLV made the Western Mountain West.
They in the Mountain West? What? No, they were. I'm pretty sure it's the Western Athletic Conference. Hold on, let me.
The Rid's right. It's the Mountain West Spring Classic. Well, I mean, for Rocket League specifically, that's what it was. But
Oh, for Rocket League.
yeah.
Okay, because like I know for a fact.
Yo, what up, Triraz? Welcome, welcome. Yeah, it's Mountain West. RJ's losing it. He
Wait,
even
hold
tries
on.
like it's Mountain West, dude. It's Mountain West.
Really? Okay, because like I'm so used to football, like football and basketball, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
like
there's
they're
usually the
in.
in like those sports it's West and then it's what is it, Midwest and then Central and then East, right? That's how it's broken up. It's also Mountain West. Oh, Ramon.
What?
Oh,
Really?
he's
I thought it.
sleep. He's sleep.
No, no.
Oh no, I
Did
would
they
believe
change
it.
it? Because I
They
thought that it
probably
was a
did.
couple years ago at least, like
Oh
two
no,
years ago at the
Ramon.
most.
Here we go. Back in
What?
my day.
Seriously, no. What? So they changed it back to Mountain West? Because I know that they were in the Mountain West uh conference and initially,
Oh,
and then BSU, Boise State, they got moved up to Western Athletic Conference. And then a few years afterwards, we got moved up to the Western Athletic Conference. So I'm not wrong. I'm just like not up to date. Okay.
you're just wrong.
No, I'm not wrong.
You're not wrong.
I
You're just
wasn't wrong.
wrong.
But yeah, no, they West was like a long time ago. What?
Oh my
No,
God,
it wasn't
Jess.
that long ago. It really wasn't. It really wasn't.
Jess, why haven't you
Anyway,
slept in 2 days? Oh my goodness.
you need some sleep.
Yep. It was a
What
long
was
time
it?
ago. You know what also was a long time ago? You going to sleep. So you need to get some sleep.
All right. Good night,
All
everybody.
right.
We're
Good
gonna
night,
end this one
everybody.
so
Thank you
that
for
Jess can
tuning.
get some sleep. But
Back in my day. Back in my day. Oh no. We had sleep. Guess what, old timer? We got too much to do in this day and age that we finna make a dollar that we don't have time to sleep. You feel me? I sleep when I'm dead.
now we all woke. Hey. Not all, not all. Anyways, though, but going back to everything, I did want to give a couple of updates as to like my streaming schedule because up to this point I didn't really have one. But from now on, no matter what, Wednesday nights, as soon as I come home from work, I'm gonna get ready. I'm gonna shower. I'm gonna eat, and then I'm gonna log on as early as 8:45 at night, and then I'm just gonna be streaming however long I feel like. I guess at the very least, like an hour or two. But yeah,
That's how it
do expect
starts.
that from mine.
And then you end up streaming for like 8 hours and you don't realize it.
Oh
And then
no,
you end up only getting 50 minutes of sleep for work. Trust me, I've been there.
no, no. I know that, but like from now on, that's my goal. Is Wednesday, Thursdays, I'm gonna be streaming. Fridays and Saturdays, I haven't promised to my girlfriend because that's her days off. Those are our days off together, so I got to make sure that Sam is happy and everything is going good. So that's definitely something. But maybe one like a random Saturday, me and her will be streaming something like Kingdom Hearts because I bought it for her and she has yet to touch it because she was like, "No, I want to play through the original ones first and then I'm going to touch it." I was like, "Okay, fine. You know what? Do you?" But
That'll be a fun little
uh
playthrough.
oh yeah. No, we're thinking about maybe streaming it like not these next weeks because there's a lot of things going on. Oh, and a slight update, kind of like last minute alert before next week's podcast, because that next Thursday is, as everyone should all know, the opening night of Avengers Endgame. I will be watching the game, or I will be watching the movie on opening night. So we're gonna have to figure out a schedule for the podcast next week. Ow,
Mm-hmm.
I had like a weird hiccup. So just be aware that it might be at a different time or on a different day. But yeah, we'll let you guys know over on the Twitter. Um,
no spoilers, Rid.
I'll spoil Game of Thrones for you. No spoiling it.
Spoil the end game and I spoil Game of Thrones. Oh no.
But
that's funny.
Oh my god. I read the books. They have nothing to do with the show now, but I read the books.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
But anyways, but yeah, no. So it's gonna be a little bit different. It's but
I mean we could just do Friday.
I mean we could do Friday, but again, well, you know what? Since Thursday we are hanging out, Sam and I.
Oh yeah, that's right. Like, I mean, yeah, it's up to you guys.
Hey, unless you don't mind Sam joining us for the after class special.
That's fine.
And that's cool. Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it that Friday. The next week's episode is the after class special, 4th edition, if you guys don't know, where we just talk just about really anything that comes to mind. Not just video games, but like what animes we're watching, what's going on in our lives, what we have planned for the next coming weeks and stuff like that. But yeah, if you guys want to join in on that, you're more than welcome to, as always. And just hang out with us for an hour or 2, maybe 3.
Or
most
4.
likely 3.
Or 8.
You know what? 10. It's going to be a 12-hour live stream
podcast
where we're just gonna be eating pizza and the webcam and not talking, just staring directly into the camera.
12 hours of eating pizza?
Just chewing loudly into the microphone.
No filters on the mics, just straight raw audio clipping.
We're gonna raw dog the microphone.
Oh no! Not like this. God. Not like this. What the fuck is this ASMR?
Project ASMR.
You just hear.
Oh Jesus Christ! Ev, we're supposed to save the microphones for that day. You're not supposed to eat the mic yet.
I was hungry.
You know, I am too. I haven't eaten yet.
Oh my god. Jesus Christ. What's with everybody not doing things for like daily humanitarian things? Come on.
Let me get my pickle.
Jess doesn't have sleep. You haven't eaten. God damn.
Oh, bro.
Rid doesn't have a pickle.
Glasses. You can't forget the pickle, man.
Come
the pickle's
on,
important.
You forgot the pickles. Oh no.
I guess this is an actual like good way to conclude the podcast for tonight.
Yeah, I mean it's not bad. We ranted about the PlayStation 5 a lot, or
honestly,
quote unquote PlayStation 5.
Yeah,
we don't know the name yet.
I'm excited. If you guys like this podcast, you know where to follow. You can always follow Tensaye here. Watch it live every Thursday, except for next week. We might be changing it to Friday because of Endgame.
Except for next week, like
PS 420. Hell yeah, I like it.
PS 170. Rid's gonna get that joke. Rid's gonna get that joke. I don't think a lot of people get that joke yet.
Oh my god!
But yeah, that's a meme.
But definitely, that's something to look forward to. But yeah, you can always follow us over on Twitter at the GP Gamers _, where we post updates to everything about the podcast and everything that like my stream related. Sometimes Tensaye updates his stream there as well. You could always catch this episode if you can't catch it live on YouTube at the Group Project Gamers. The link to that is probably in the description. So you guys can go check that out. And everything else, I also post on Insta for the channel sometimes. I need to get better. Okay, here's my resolution. From now on, I will be more consistent about updating the Twitter, the Instagram, and everything else. I will be sending updates to everybody so that everybody knows. And if anybody wants to hop on with us for the podcast, let us know, and we'll give you a link to the Discord for the podcast and everything, so we can set that up.
Oh yeah, and my resolution is 1080p at 144 hertz. So
we playing Fortnite tonight or what?
Yes. I'm playing everything tonight. I'm about to experience 144 and everything right now.
I won't be able to utilize Discord, just so you know, for what's it called, Fortnite, because it's a little wonky, and I want to use this headset as much as possible. So
you're good.
Yeah.
But I mean, you can ping things now, so it's all good.
Hell yeah. But definitely. Oh, you're not gonna do team or game chat?
I don't know. I can set it up. I don't have it bound because my usual text or my usual speech chat is my editing key, so it's usually different. But I can figure it out. I'll figure out a keybind for it.
For sure. But yeah, thank you guys, everyone, for joining in. Rid, Jess, everybody. As always, it's always appreciated, and I love you guys.
Oh
that's really all I got to say.
Until next ASMR stream, we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Oh wait.
Wait, what was that?
Later.
But you weren't supposed to scream it into the later.
Oh. Later.
Bye. Love you guys. See you next podcast. And today we're gonna be eating pizza. No, I'm just kidding. All right,
sushi.
Later.
We're gonna be live streaming from the sushi bar.
Imagine. Hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
Oh,
let me tell you something that your wife wants to hear. Ow! I hit my mic I hit my headset on the mic stand.
Oh my god! You want to hear the foam, Jess? Okay, let's.
Oh, I don't think you can hear it. Oh, baby. Oh, you guys do not want to know what's going on the other side of this podcast right now, because it looks probably so wrong that it would probably get me banned. And I'd probably get kicked out of my house. I'd probably get evicted from my home. And yeah. But anyways, guys, see you next time.
Later.